John here, back again with another live stream. Back to work on the Net Pro Max Fedora 29 server installation. And let's go ahead and get on the desktop. And okay, well, the last thing I was doing was installing. I went ahead and installed Mate Desktop with the remote terminal in Cockpit admin app. Here, doing it remotely from the Lenovo i5 here, and I rebooted everything except for the Net Pro Max. I left it just like it was. It had gotten through while I was eating, installing Mate Desktop, and then I want to go ahead and run another command and install some more Mate apps. But I thought, well, I hadn't looked at the logs, and so the last reboot. Like I said, I didn't reboot after doing the installation, but I hadn't looked at the reboots lately. So the last reboot, only 2 messages was failed to start DNF Mate cache. That was one of the first ones I saw. And then the timeout too large, about the networking. I see that every time. That's every time. And I looked into that once before. And what it does is it makes reduce the whatever this file is to look like something really large, doesn't it? I guess that's kilobytes or something. It's DHC client, something to do with that. Let's see, what exact file is it? Command line, DHC client, user bin DHC client. So I guess it's the file. DHC would be, I imagine, DHCP client, getting the IP address from the router. So it's part of the group network manager. So I might, after I get everything else going, I might look into that. It could actually end up being something that matters. I did look into it a little bit, and I didn't see anything that looked like it was a big deal. But at the last reboot, it doesn't say what time, it just says the date. But see, it's now the 11th, and this was on the 10th, so it was probably, sometime before midnight. This is 19 a.m. right now. So, because I got up about 2:30 in the afternoon, been working since sometime after that, after I ate, a couple hours after that, or more. I had some other stuff to do before I got on the computer. But the process of 1281 C applet encountered an uncaught GI repository glib error execution C applet. Cannot access another one. Cannot access VD agent Virtio channel dev virtual ports com.red hat spice. Something to do with the spice stuff that I actually don't know. Didn't even know it was going to be installed because I don't really know what to do with it. Then the same thing, timeout too large on the DHC client, and then failed to connect to socket. System bus socket connection refused. AVC will be dropped. AVC, let's see, SETI S-patch. I thought that was going to have something to do with SE Linux. AVC is, from what I remember, AVC has to do with SE Linux and AVC denial, OAC, stuff like that. Denied by SE Linux. I'm not quite sure what this one is about. Another one of the same one above. Same one above, and then this same normal everyday error, and then so some of these have been happening. And this one here, desktop.dbus error, no reply, did not receive reply. Possible causes remote application pulse audio. I don't know why anything remotely would be. I remember noticing something about a port to pulse audio, like opening it on the firewall, and I said, well, I don't need to do that. So I don't know what's up with that, but maybe it has something to do with Cockpit connecting remotely. Maybe it tries to get to sound remotely. Maybe it does that by default or something. I don't know. I don't have speakers plugged into the machine, so if it was making sounds, I wouldn't know it unless it was on the little PC speaker, you know. And then the last set on the 9th, that was just the same thing. Well, the mate cache sometimes, DNF mate cache sometimes fails from system D, and then the same DHC client. SETI patch is exiting in stdin EOF. User bin SETI patch terminated unsuspectedly. So there's some new errors. I don't know if you know, I have been kind of installing some stuff, so I don't know if it's got to do with some of that or what. But I did not catch any errors showing up in the terminal when it was booting up. But that, you know, everything doesn't show up in there. Some of them are just warnings or just sometimes just information. Like, well, here these. I don't know how to tell the. That's the shape of a caution, so it's probably not a big bad error, you know. And then that one that has an X on it, I don't know what the X means. They give you these symbols that with nowhere would have an explanation. I mean, if you hover over them, it doesn't tell you anything. So I don't know. So it's black and white. It's not red and yellow and all that. I guess so. You know, if one was yellow and one was red, I'd know red was worse. At least that's the way it normally is. Okay, so there's a couple things I thought of. Well, first let's go ahead and get, let's see. Yeah, first let's go ahead and get my, let's open back up my script. I want to do that other Mate, the Mate app. Okay, I already did that, install Mate Desktop. Now I'm using the search to find things here. The search within the document. DNF group install Mate applications, and for some reason they spell Mate with all caps, and it might matter and it might not. Usually when they do something, it matters. And this was done by the terminal. Remember, these are output from running group list commands, different ones. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started. And while that's running, I'll tell you what let me make sure stuff's, yeah, it sounds good and everything. Okay, I just thought of it not long before I started up again, right after I ate. The name of the boot GUI that I'm trying to remember was Plymouth or Plymouth. I think the reason I call it Plymouth is because when I first saw it and went to their website, they had this animated character with a huge mouth. So it made me think it's supposed to be pronounced Plymouth. But I don't know if I've ever looked it up, but I think it Plymouth, I think, and mouth, you know, Plymouth. But Plymouth may be spelled the same way. I may have looked it up, but I've forgotten now. But hopefully this won't take too long and I won't have time to look up sidetracks. So I might need to look for a Plymouth group in my script. And since those commands have already been ran on all the possibilities, that's why I just use that instead of running the. Of course, it might be best to run those commands again on here because this is a different version of Fedora. And I probably will do that at some point here. And then I got to thinking those commands I ran that got me to where I could run startx and get into the XFCE graphical desktop as root. I ran it as root, so maybe I just need to run it as Dawn, user Dawn. Maybe that's all there is to it. I just need a config file for Dawn. So after I install these Mate things, if things don't change, then I'll try that. And yeah, so those are the two things. And then again, I may have to run those commands again for Mate, just like I found in my old videos of what I did before. So, but it just dawned on me, well, sometimes, well, it would make sense if it's making a config file, that command, then it's almost done here. So I was fixing to switch off, but no, it's 32 or 33. So if it's making a config file in the users, for that user, then I need to do it for every user, and that might be my only problem. I didn't explain much. It just said run this, in that website where I got those commands. Didn't for Fedora 23 or Fedora 28. It's pretty much the same output. It just was, saying this is for this version and this is for that version. So I was busy talking, so I didn't pay much attention to what was getting installed. But it's this. I know this Mate applications is really helpful. So I think they're installing now. What? Oh, it's okay. It's still something else going on there. 33 or 33, so a couple of times now. It's running scriptlet. There we go. Verifying. Okay, now they're verifying. Complete. Okay. Now what we installed was the firewall applet. Oh, okay, so we can control the firewall in Mate. Okay, just share, something to share. That's the default file manager that they use in Mate Desktop. Some more stuff. Let's see. 8 menu applets, Python, Cages, Samba. This is for the Samba networking with Windows machines. Which this is a group, so you get what's in the group when you do a group install. But okay, so let's go all the way to the top. Let's see. There we go. Oops, what just happened? Oh, that doesn't work that way. I was using the up arrow keys. I can use my mouse wheel. There's nothing on the side. You don't have something you can grab and pull up and down, which I wish there was. Okay, you do, and no, you don't. Yeah, some terminals you do, and some you don't. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and make a file for this too. I did it for the other commands, and actually, you don't get when you try to copy and paste in the terminal output. You don't get it all in this terminal, even though it looks like it's all there. Doesn't copy and paste. It seems like it copies and pastes more than you can see in the window at each given time, but it doesn't. That's why I was kind of considering, well, maybe I should learn myself how to do an SSH connection with the terminal. It's actually, I've done it a few times. It's not that hard. You don't actually need this Cockpit app just to do that. You could just do it with any terminal. It's probably what I ought to be doing. Then I wouldn't have anything to complain about when I want to do this right here. But it's pretty weird. That right there I'm not used to. That doesn't happen in regular terminals. But if I do it without... if I do it, I'm fixing it again. I'll just show it and tell it. Let's see. Are you going to work? Uh-oh. It's behind. Why is it behind? DNF Automatic. That's why, I bet. The automatic updates, I guess. Because I know that my lucky backup already ran. So I need to not have so much stuff open. So, see, it's all selected, but you don't get it all. But I did this, see, and I'll get the first half and the second half. How it's divided up, I don't know, but I did that again every time. Well, that's how I do it. That's how you're supposed to do it. Paste unformatted. Okay, so, but I'm pretty sure there's stuff missing in the middle. Because if you just copy and paste, you don't get it all. Where's my divider? And really, it's not that important. I mean, sometimes it is, but it's not completely all that important to get it all. The beginning I like to have for the so I can know what command I ran, and then the end I want to have to see the results. And usually there's like if there's errors, there'll be all the errors given in there and all that. So. Okay, so now get rid of those quotation marks. I don't want them there, even if they would work. It might. Some applications can read, file names with weird things like that, and some can't. And some of them just you can't do. Period. Just close this and this because the machine was really slowing down. Yeah, DNF automatic still running, so I think that just means automatic updates are running. I have seen that before, I think, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so what I want to do now is reboot it. Reboot now, and I need to get my long stick so that I can hurry up and switch to the other machine so we can catch it while it's rebooting. Catch it before it's all over anyway. Okay, reboot now. Uh-oh. Well, great. My application's on. There we go. My application wasn't working. It's the first time I ever remember seeing OBS Studio. Not well. It's because, like I said, I think it's the update thing. First time I remember seeing OBS Studio like that in this machine. Seeing that kind of thing happened a lot. Well, it wasn't really like that. It was like the memory was all used up. It was half white. A few little bars and menus, and then a bunch of white screen on the AMD 8300 8-core processor. I found out by doing a little research that it's something about the OBS not running so well on 8-core processors. And they had some videos I found had some suggestions how to make it better, but I haven't tried it because I haven't been back on that mom's machine yet. So now we're booting up. Well, on the preview we're not, but it is working its way to booting up. And I'm kind of trying to watch the preview. Okay, something failed. LM sensor service. Go to system CTL status, LM sensor service for details. Something didn't work. Okay, so we didn't get a GUI. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. I swear that this thing was telling its IP address before. Maybe it didn't. Maybe I just... I think the first time right after I installed it, I forgot to look. And see. Let me get back on my machine now. I think I forgot to look and see what it said. Yeah, and I went and just looked in the, the router, just see what or IP was, I think. But I'm getting back on the desktop, and it should show up here in a little bit. And let's see if I can reconnect. Yes, I want to reconnect. Leave? Yes, I want to leave. All right, now this time instead of logging in as I don't know if well, I need to run that as mate. And yeah, I'm going to log in as Don. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to run those commands, and then I guess I'll log out and log back in as root and run those commands again. I'll just do it again as XFCE and as mate. And for Mate and for XFCE is what I'm trying to say. Okay, now I'm looking at my notes that are just reminding me what to do. Oh, and the Plymouth Boot Screen. Yeah, let's try this first, and if that doesn't work, then I'll have to look into the Plymouth Boot Screen and see if I'm missing some apps there. I usually don't ever do this, but you can do it like this, I believe. You just, not going to have the root privileges. We went straight to the terminal. I guess it remembers where you were last time. See what you can see from here first. Error and above. Oh, I see. But there's nothing there. Everything. Let's see. Now there's everything. I hadn't paid much attention to that. Dawn is not in the sudoers file. This incident will be reported. With great power comes great responsibility. Think before you type. This is silly. Respect the privacy of others. Administrator, it usually boils down to these three things. We trust you have received so-and-so. Is there anything else in here besides? Okay, I liked it better the other way. But yeah, I forgot there's so many different ways to look at errors. So error and above, that's the way to look at it. So there's none, at least not that you can see as Dawn. Okay, I think you can see most things, but there's a lot of things you couldn't do, Yeah. Okay, so now I need to get my, is the machine going to be okay now? DNF Automatic's still running, but I need those commands. Oh, I had those in the browser. Yeah, I have them in favorites. Okay. I don't have them saved. Well, yeah, I did save that one file on the machine, but let's see. There we go. XFCE. What is this? I think this is actually the one I need. This will be for XFCE, and then I noticed that the commands are the same. The only thing that's different is you put Mate Desktop. Well, this is different. So this is for XFCE. So this may be what I needed to do in the first place right here. I won't do startx until I'm done. Well, I guess I could. But, well, now I want to run it on each section, like I said. Whoops, getting confused about where to go. Okay. I guess I didn't paste in the window yet. You got to click in the window, and sometimes if you get lucky, you can just right click, and you want to make sure you don't have any extra spaces. Okay, that worked. Echo, execute user bin, so and so, so and so. That might be editing of this file. Okay, now see how I can find the other one. I think it's going to be in, yeah, okay, that. Fedora 23, yeah. I think it's going to be this one here. Open in a new tab. Yeah, now see, now it's for Mate Desktop. Oh, but it's the same file. Well, but it says Mate Session. See, and the other one said, we'll look at it in a second here. The other one said XFCE 4 Session. Yeah, you need the right version, wouldn't you? So it's lucky that this one is, that one just says Mate Session, doesn't say what version, so that shouldn't hurt anything. That is for Fedora 23. I think it's always best to be on the right version, though, isn't it? Let's see. I think it'll be all right. Okay. And again, we have a mess of trying to get this to. All right. Now, actually, well, let's go ahead and Oh, no, let's do startx from right here now. Let's see what we get on the terminal. It says home Dawn server auth 1397 does not exist. So only console users are allowed to run the X server. Unable to connect to, oh, maybe you need to not be remote. Maybe you need to be over there on it, is what it's trying to tell me. Oh, and it's finished. Couldn't get file descriptor referring to the console. Okay. Let's go to the machine and see. Last time it said some errors, not as a lot more errors, and it it worked, but that was as root. So I forgot to change to the camera. Now we'll get over there. See what we got. Nope, we didn't get anything. Okay. Let's try it from here then. Yeah. startx. It's trying. Tried last time, I think. It's taking longer, so I think maybe it's working. Yep. Superspace is now the default hotkey. That's one of the things I saw before. So unless it crashes or something, I think we're going to get one of the desktops. Okay. Use default. This is XFCE. Use default config or one empty panel. I want default config because one empty panel leaves you with nothing to control anything with. And then I'll have to set it up the way I want it. Okay, so this must have been what I did wrong, is I did it only as root. I could have just done it as Dawn and never done it as root, and it probably would have been fine. There's 41 updates now. Oh yeah, because I installed Mate, probably. Okay, so I know what's one of the first things I probably want to do. Go to the, not administration, to settings. And go to session and startup, and I think I need to display the chooser at login. Probably don't. Yeah, I'm not going to do that automatically save session on logout. Like I did that in root, now I need to go back in there and take that out. And let's see, there may be all kinds of, yeah, Blue Man Group. See, that's starting up. I don't want that. I don't want. My gosh, I'm way on down the road and you still don't see it, do you? I just don't know what to do about that. It just gets better and worse, and right when I think it's working, it's like a minute or two behind, I swear. I don't think it's freezing up or anything. I mean, I hear myself talking. Of course, my machine was acting slow, so. Could be more to do with my machine. I don't know why it wouldn't be keeping up, but well, I'm just going to do what I need to do, and then I could do it on remote desktop. Let's see. Yeah, let me see if I can do that. I should have. Well, I'm going to do what I need to do. Close this and open it back up and show it in a minute. I do like to show what the heck it is I'm talking about. Oh yeah, the power manager. Did I take that out of startup? You don't really want to take the power manager out, I don't think. I think you just want to not have it putting it to sleep or anything. Screensaver I'm going to take out of startup. I don't want it starting up. Yeah, Spice VD agent for spice guests. Yeah, I don't. I remember. I used to know what that was, but I think it's some. I don't know that it's necessarily uh, virtual virtual box. I need to look into that because I'm not quite sure what it's for. I don't want some server running that I don't want. And then the VBox client. Well, I guess it's got to do with because it's got a VBox client, VMware user agent, all that stuff. That stuff came when I thought I was not installing any of that. So I don't know why I've got it. Policy kit. Okay. There's another Power Manager daemon down there. Oh yeah, there is going to be more now because I installed Mate Desktop. So there's a whole bunch more, but none of that's checked. So I'm not planning on using Mate Desktop either. So I'm not gonna check any of it. I don't want more stuff running in the background than I have to have for this machine, and I also don't want things fighting each other. That does happen when you got several desktops sometimes. Okay, so display chooser logon. That's the main thing I think would help me. Now, trying to make sure I don't get mixed up and not run everything the way I should. I'll do this first and then I'll mess with the root side of things. So, yeah, I'll do that. I'm going to search for, well, now you can finally see the desktop over there. I want to search for, yeah, KRFB is installed, so I should be able to just run it. Okay, now, and I don't have the wallet stuff set up, or whatever they call it in here. Password saver set up. Let's see. Oops. So whenever I minimize that, it comes up, and KDE wallet, yeah, that is the wallet. So it won't save that password, even though I'm telling it to. All right, so it'll just be gone next time. So that's the only penalty with that, but I do want to go ahead and get that done. So I should be able to log in with remote desktop now. Because, boy, the camera, not only you can't read any of it, but you can't even see the picture of the screen that I'm on. So, yeah, that's what I needed to do, was run the, since I have both Mate and XFCE, but what made me be able to get into XFCE Desktop was running that as Dawn, that exe user bin, XFCE 4 session. That actually, I think, put an entry into that file, I think, .xinitrc is what I believe happened. I'm kind of catching on all that work I did trying to learn how to set up a DNS server. I ran into all those kinds of commands. So I think I'll copy that and put it in the file right now before I lose it. Okay, let's see, am I still running? Yeah, that auto update thing is not running now. I shouldn't be in such bad shape. So I guess I'll go ahead and open up LibreOffice. It's just quicker. I have it up there. I don't know that it actually it takes a little while to open it up, but I think it's actually easier on the system than opening up my favorite text editor, KWrite. I think. Okay, I'm starting to remember to change the font size before I start copying and pasting. And looky there, I'm actually remembering to do it like that. Okay. I probably already have a file I should have just added this to. Desktop. There we go. I'm just going to do that so that I can save it and close the file. I just keep doing that because it's, if I'd have looked, I would have saw what my other files were for the machine's sake. Okay, now I need those commands again. I'm going to go ahead and do it in root. I've already done it for XFCE. I guess I don't really have to do it for XFCE, but I may do it again since I've been running so many things here. Okay, should let me connect. Yeah. There we go. That's more like it. All right, now, here we go. XFCE Desktop on my Pro Max Fedora 29 server, and I was able to get into it by typing startx at the command line. I mean, if that's what I had to do every time, I could live with that, but I didn't in my Fedora 23. But I was looking, okay, so I went to settings. It's even behind on the, oh yeah, well it does look, it is, what I see on my preview over there is behind, so yeah, I think I'm all right now. Okay, settings, where did I go? I've already forgot. I'm tired now. After my supper, I usually am kind of tired. Well, the food just makes me, I need the food, but it also makes me go glassy-eyed. Okay, preferred applications, session and startup. That's where I'm trying to go. Now you've got what you can do. Yeah, see now, and I clicked on this to activate display chooser at logon. I think that'll fix me up. Although it didn't before, so maybe it won't. And then I went into, I didn't turn on anything in the splash screen because I don't like the rats and all that stuff. So all this stuff, I took out the Blueberry and the Bluetooth. I don't have a Bluetooth adapter on this machine, so I don't have it on any of my desktops. So actually, I don't think I have it on my laptops either, just the phones. So I always uncheck that on all the machine, computers. That live install setup, I'm going to leave it alone for now. It seems like it would have already went away on its own, but leave it alone. I'm not quite sure why it's there. And the power manager, I might have taken that out. Surely I didn't. You want the power manager there, I think. Then again, maybe if you take it out, it won't do anything like go to sleep on you at all. I don't know. I'd be afraid it would. Well, I don't know. Seems to me like you could take it out and then it wouldn't bother you at all. But I'm going to leave it alone, and I'm just going to make sure I turn it off in here too. I turned it off in the root as a root user. But see, now on the top right, I'm done, so I'm good. I'm getting what I wanted. At least I've got it going. Now let's see if it sticks when I reboot here in a minute. The screensaver I took out a while ago whenever I was, wasn't able to show you what I was doing. And these I'm leaving. I won't mess with the VMware or the VirtualBox or any of that right now. And the Spice, that's the one I was like, I'm trying to remember what it was even really for. Spice for Spice guests. See, I can't remember if it's part of virtual stuff, virtual machines, or if it's more of a, I don't think it's got anything to do with the remote desktop, so I just can't remember. I'll look it up. And then this more genome stuff. There's about more than twice as much stuff down here that's not checked since I installed Mate Desktop, which, like I said, it's a fork of Genome 2, so there's a lot of the utilities still have the original names, Genome Disk Utility and all stuff like that. You don't need Genome Disk Utility starting up and startup anyway. That's the one you use to edit partitions and stuff. And the policy kit and all these things for Mate Desktop. I'm not going to turn them on because I'm actually on this server. I just only install it hoping it would help me get my, my GUI for logging on. That's all I was hoping. just, spit in the wind trying to do it there. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything to have it. I had it on my Fedora 23, but I won't be using it because it uses more resources. I'll just go ahead and use XFCE. Although there are times, and like I said, there are things in the Mate Desktop setup applications, GUIs, that aren't in XFCE, and you've got to do command line stuff to make some things work. So it's kind of good to have Mate just for the settings and stuff, even if you're not going to use it. And like I said, I've said it a million times, if I haven't lately. So Genome 3, I don't like it. I've never used it, and it's missing a lot of those settings actually that I like. So yeah, so this is what I want in here. No screensavers, but they're not in the startup, but I've noticed that they'll start themselves up anyway somehow, unless you make sure they're turned off in their settings. So I'm going to get over here and search for screensavers. There's the first one right there. Looks like we've only got one actual screensaver app. It shouldn't be running, but we'll see. Well, it didn't say anything about yeah, see, it's set to lock screen after so-and-so. And I noticed in here I could easily do 320 minutes, so that's long enough. It shouldn't bother me if it turns itself back on again or something. And then, let's see, power management is not enabled in here, so we should be good with that. No locking the screen, that aggravates the heck out of me. But there is, let's see if the power manager has anything turned on in it. Okay, everything is asked, status notifications off. System tray icon on, that's fine. Suspend when inactive for never. Lock screen, see that's still, whoops, that's still there. And if you go that way, then you start making it, so you want it, usually it's the other way around. You go to the far right to make it longer, or to get to never, like in Mate and stuff. So, okay, now see that's, I'm going to put that up as far as I can. Display power management. Oh, display power management. No, I do not want you turning my display off. Okay, maybe that is what's wrong with my Lenovo Y5. I think I have XFCE Desktop on it. Maybe it's doing that to me. Maybe it's, I was telling you that it was going to sleep. Well, at like 10, maybe 20 minutes into a video when I'm watching videos, it drives me nuts. I think it's 10 or 15 minutes. It's real short. So I think maybe what happens, I think, is when you get updates to your system and to the apps on your system, sometimes the apps go back to their defaults. I always say it does it on its own, but I think that's what's causing it. Sometimes I forget that that's probably what's causing it too, and I don't know. But so now maybe that will be good with that. Let's look one more time. Bit slow to respond because of the remote desktop, I think. Well, and it's a little slow. Power. Okay, we were just in there. And screensaver. Let's look at the display settings and make sure there's not something there that would do that. Yeah, okay, everything looks normal there. Yeah, I think that's all good. Okay, if I had those commands, I could just run them right here on this machine, but I don't have the links or anything over here on this machine. Oh, wait. This is what I did before. Oh. Get me a terminal opened up. And in order to do it as root, I can just do, yeah, that'll be fine. Just do su for sudo. Well, won't it? I don't know. I'd kind of like to make sure and do it logged in as root, just like I did before. well, I can do it right now, and if something doesn't work, then work on it harder. Work on it harder. So there we go. Now I can go over here and get that command. Well, let's go ahead and do that one. That's that's for Mate. That's actually the one I really wanted. And I think I'm going to run the other one for XFCE just to make sure that everything's good after these new installs and everything. Get rid of that space. Okay, now I'm going to, since I'm on that machine, well, I'm actually more interested in having that saved over here on this machine. So guess I'll just do a new file, or I could try opening up the another file, couldn't I? There's some up there. They are. 429 set up for user done. Install and start XFCE Desktop. There we go. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. It fixed it for me. And I noticed that I misspelled it, and then and I was going to try to correct it, but it fixed it for me. That's cool. Sometimes that's usually, well, it may not always be good, but I think it is usually. Okay, so that's a good thing. Now, so I did that. Now, if that, doing it pseudo root privileges, if that didn't, it should take effect perfectly. Let's see. I think, unless it did it for Dawn again or something, but I don't think so. If it doesn't work like expected, then I'll go and log in as root like I did before and do it. Still an application running. What application is running? I don't remember actually having anything else open but the terminal. What is that one? Oh, that's my remote desktop. Well, there's nothing running that I can see. It's just setting at the command prompt. So let's see. Now, did I miss it or nothing happened so far? I just thought I'd close the terminal before I reboot the machine. I could just use the terminal to reboot it, but there's still processes running. Closing will kill it. Let's wait, because what if it's not done with what I told it to do? That's what I'm more concerned about. I mean, it should be done because it's at the command prompt. But I don't want to mess something up, that's for sure. I wonder, can I see what processes are running? Let's see. We'll use that search again. I really love that. This is the search I use on all my desktops, XFCE app search, app finder. It's made for XFCE, so it really is faster. My keyboard's not working worth crap on this remote desktop. It keeps doing sticky keys is what it does. Don't see the system monitor. So what I was looking for was system monitor or something. I think it's actually the one I like is the Mate system monitor. The app's kinda, well, it's probably the remote desktop that's slow, not the probably not the search app. But let's just use this up here. Maybe it'll respond a little quicker. Task manager, yeah, that'll be better than nothing. What about the Mate? I should have the Mate system monitor since I installed that Mate stuff, and it should show up in this screen. Mate terminal. See, I've got a Mate terminal. I don't see anything that says system monitor. Well, we'll just look at the task manager. I was just trying to see if I could tell what it was, what's going on, if there's something running because of the, because of the terminal there or what. It's going to be hard to tell though. There's lots of stuff running, and I have no clue as to what might be. Well, I guess I could guess by those commands, but CPU 100%. Yeah, that's why it's running slow. So running this is just going to make it even harder on it. So I'll close it. Yeah, I won't give it anything else to do. I would say it probably there shouldn't really be anything running now. Oh, well, I'll tell you what I can do. I can do the reboot from here, and that way it should nicely close that program. So this time I'm going to get over here and get on the camera so that I won't get hung up trying to switch over. Now all I'll have to do is change the switch. Reboot now. Okay. Now I'll switch over to the camera. I mean, I'm on the camera. I'll switch over with the KVM switch to the, and it's rebooting right now. We've got an encouraging thing. I saw the Fedora. Well, it looks like an 8 to me. I think it's supposed to be something else, but the Fedora 8 ball. That's what it looks like, an 8 ball. And it's at stop job is running. Okay, it's shutting down. Oh, that's why I saw it, because it was shutting down, not booting up. I thought it was showing it because it was already booting up, but it's still trying to automatic install updates. That's what it was running. Oh, so it's a good thing I didn't force close that. That could have broken things. I forgot that I saw updates a while ago and that I have automatic updates turned on. I should have, if I'd have remembered that, then, but since it's shutting it down nicely, or maybe it's waiting for it to finish actually, it says a stop job is running for DNF automatic install updates. It says 1 minute 23 seconds / 1 minute 38 seconds. I guess that's how long it is. Now it's done. I've never had anything break, so I think it, if you do this, it will probably wait long enough to be able to like shut it down in between installs or something is what I would guess, like if there are a bunch of them. So that's what it was. I just kept having a feeling I shouldn't force that. It wasn't anything to do with what I was doing. It was to do with why it was saying it was running in the terminal. I don't know. We have a new kernel. Oh. Yeah, I didn't look and see what those updates were. I didn't think about it being a kernel update. Kernel panic. Uh-oh. Not syncing VHF. Unable to mount root FS. Oh, no. May have broke it. not tainted, unknown block. I might have broke the system by shutting it down in the middle of those updates. I haven't done that in years. But I don't know, maybe I've been lucky. But it didn't force it. It waited. Kernel panic, not syncing. I'm going to wait a little bit because sometimes it will recover. But, and all in the middle there, call trace, dump, stack, so and so, block root. And sometimes you can get junk like this and then reboot again and it'll be alright. You can always go back to the previous kernel. That might be what I'll have to do. Go back to the previous kernel and do all the updates again. But sometimes your updates get all hung up. And let's see, what is it you have to run? Oh, clean. Well, it used to be yum clean all, I think, that you ran. So I guess it would be DNF clean all to clear out the cache of the broken downloads and stuff, broken install files or whatever. I think it was in the middle of an installation the way it sounded, not a download. So, but it's just sitting there blinking. I don't think it's coming out of that. Control-Alt-Delete's not doing anything. Well, we get to see how to try to work around just a little bit of error problem here in these in these videos. Yeah, I don't want to do it too early, but it doesn't look like it's going anywhere else. Unable to mount root FS. I hope it didn't really break it completely. That is not one you want to see. I'm hard shutting it down with my remote stick. I mean, there was nothing I could do once I realized what was wrong. It was already happening, you know. You can't unshut down, so. And I didn't know what was, I didn't know what it was interrupting either, so I think it interrupted a kernel update. So I'll just let it go normal for this time, and if it hangs up like that again, I do have a previous kernel. So evidently, yeah, that was a newer kernel that I guess it was installing. Looks like it's going to do the same thing. But it says unknown block. You know, now that's an uh-oh. This is another thought. This is what happened to my Fedora 23 system. It could actually be that this hard drive is beginning to fail. But I thought I checked it and it checked out okay. Unable to mount the root file system. This is what happened last time. Boy, that'd suck. I've reformatted this thing out how many times lately and hadn't seen a single error. Hard shut it down one more time. Only because Control-Alt-Delete wasn't responding a while ago. Oh, I didn't turn it back on. I may not be showing how to get around anything if it's broke. Except for to reformat on another hard drive. I've worked hard on this one and got a lot done on it. I sure don't want to start again. And this time I'm going to hit the arrow key, hit the down arrow key when I see that list, and boot to the previous kernel. And let's see if we can. There's only two choices: the previous kernel or the rescue mode, which you have to do everything in the command line that way. I guess. Well, I probably wouldn't have the ability to use the remote admin tool, you know. Well, it doesn't have that much. Okay, now it's looking good. I've got the three dots in the grayish screen. Can't see it on the camera though, can you? Not yet. You're just now seeing the GUI boot screen. I just don't know what to do to fix it. I mean, I don't know what to do to fix my cameras being so far behind either. Tried and tried. Let's see. Fail to start monitoring sensors. Oh. System CTL. That's probably something that got installed with Mate Desktop. Well, at least it, yeah, okay, it booted back up. No GUI, but it booted back up. Now, I'm going to do root, and I guess I better run my updates. And well, let's do it in the, oh yeah, well, let's do startx. Whoops. Can I even type? I don't think I can type. Now, if the you know, GUI starts back up, which I think it will, I can do remote desktop and show what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay, default, log out, or new session. We're going to do default. Oh, there's Dawn. It's right under it. I've got them both. You know what? That could have been there all along. I just now realized you can just barely see that there's something else there. I don't know if that was there. Could have been there all along. If you roll your mouse wheel over that, you can see there's Dawn and default. And the default is root, which if might be some way to set Dawn as default. Well, actually, let's go Dawn. Yeah, I clicked on default and it didn't do anything. Click on Dawn, and now it looks like it's going to work. Because you don't need to be logged in as root in order to. Oh, that's probably what was running KRFB, because it opened back up. Oh, I had that set. Let's see, connection established. The KDE wallet's what came back up. Let's see. Sorry, problem occurred. You'd like to resolve this. That's probably that same problem that it shows up. Oh, there's no problem. There's a problem. Oh, no, there's no problem. Firewall. Yeah, it says no problem detected. I've seen that a lot in my Fedora 28 system when I first. Oh, no, I'm in as root. I clicked on Dawn. You know what? It must have happened. It was delayed in reacting to my first click. So I'm in as root, but that's actually what I was wanting. So I'm going to go ahead and get the remote desktop up and going so I can show what it is I'm doing here. Let's see. KRFB. KRFB is taking its time coming up. Oh, there it is. It's already up and running. Yeah, I remember. So that's why I did that. It was running in the background already, I think. I saw that. First thing I saw was the KDE wallet thing. My desktop's gone. My background is gone though. Hadn't come up yet. That might have. Well, I don't know why it would be broke. Oh, I accidentally unmuted the laptop. Scared me with my remote, my long stick. Well, I just hope this new kernel. I think the new kernel will be able to be fixed. As long as it's still running, they'll probably be able to finish that update. Might have been that it didn't actually get broken, it just didn't get finished. We'll hope that. We'll hope for that. All right, now I'm just going to go. I went ahead and logged in as root because that's what it did, after all. But it must have just been taking a long time, because I rolled the mouse wheel down and went ahead and clicked on Dawn and it instantly logged in. But when I got in there, it was as root. See, top right, root. So here we go, back in the. But see, I don't have my fancy new Fedora 29 desktop background. It's just gray. Something got broke, I guess. But and the updates app is not sticking up there now either. So here's what I'll do. I'm in as root, so I'm just going to open up the terminal and just do a DNF update. That way we'll see what's going on. DNF update. We'll see. It'll tell us, what's happening. Plus it doesn't work. The system is hard to do it in the terminal. And if it tells me something's hung up or whatever, okay, it says nothing to do. Huh. That's weird. I expected for it to say, something was hung up or whatever. I'm going to do DNF clean all and then do DNF update. 78 files removed. Because there could be some broken updates left in there. Now see, we can run our update from scratch again. Because we know that new kernel, something's wrong and it couldn't boot to it. Glad I remember that command. I haven't used that in a very long time. Used to have to do that because updates would hang up and the GUI updaters would, well, they were kind of buggy, I guess. And so I actually learned that one. It's not a long one either, I mean, it's not just DNF space clean. Well, it was yum space clean all when I learned it. So the only thing you have to do different now is DNF space clean space all. And that cleans out the cache, the update cache. Gets rid of from what I understand, it gets rid of the cache being the downloaded files. So, if any of them were broken or anything got interrupted, then, it'll just download them all again. That's what it'll do. So hopefully that will, they'll run, and, like if anything was not completed in that update, obviously something wasn't, and it'll overwrite that old junk and write in new stuff that's not broken. It's taking a little time here, so it's working. It's the first thing it says there. You probably can read it better than me right now. My eyes are blurry. Like I said, after eating supper, and I was already kind of tired anyway. But I just wanted to get back on this. I wanted to get this GUI working before I went to bed. Anyway, Fedora Modular 29, and then Fedora Modular x86 64 updates, and then 29 more updates, and it's working. I don't think it's hung. I think it's just working. So we can come back to it in a minute. But hopefully it's just working away, and I don't think it's even in the middle of downloading anything. Well, it could be, yeah, because it might be a bigger file is what it might be. See, these are already shown that they were just small files. Well, that was 62 megabytes. Oh, that might have been the one it was working on. Last metadata checked. That might have been the one it was working on and checking the metadata on it. So let's hang on and see. Yeah, that one is 62 megabytes. So. Okay, nothing to do. All right, so can we, let's see, copy. Yeah, this is not one that you can save output, but so I'll have to go to someplace to, let's just do. Plymouth is a text file editor that's good. I'm sure I don't have, like kwrite and all that stuff. I just want to save this like I do. Okay, I was trying to copy and I'll just hit save as. This is still going to be as a root, isn't it? Okay. Well, now root has all of its normal. I guess that happened when I installed Mate Desktop. Yeah, and we still have our files that we had. I'll do this and then change it. DNF. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to get kind of a little record of that. And we'll close this. Yeah, so I think well, no. You know, this app was running, and that might have been we'll see now. When I closed the terminal that time, I didn't have any problem. I still don't quite get why that happened there in the terminal. Those commands I had tried to run, they had to have been finished. Maybe they weren't. Now I'm wondering if, I guess I'll just reboot again and see if that new kernel is going to be okay. And if it's not, then well, that's going to turn into some more work. But so yeah, that doesn't close that. I'm not quite sure. I guess I'd have to pay attention if I want to see how to close it. Might be worth the trouble of setting me up that little password thing. Oh, there it is, quit. So if I quit, there we go. Now I lost my connection. So, of course I can reconnect here. That's what I'll do because I need a way to reboot it. That was just making a pain in the butt for me. I typed that right. Okay, so I'll just go to the GUI section this time and I'll use the restart. And this time I'm going to hit restart. I could do, let's do this. Oh wait, at a specific time or 1 minute. I just wanted like 20 seconds. Let's just say no delay. I don't want to wait. Okay, restart now. And now we'll go to the camera and we'll get our KVM switch over there. Okay, this time it didn't hang up on shutdown. And we'll see, we'll let it just boot normally. I won't touch the keyboard or anything unless I have a problem. And okay, now it's going to try to boot to the 4.19.7 kernel. I was on the 4.19.6 kernel just now. That's what'll save your life. Oh crap! That's what'll save your life when something like this happens. You know, you can. Now I don't know what to do to fix this. Now that you know, none of that. The rootfs on, it says the rootfs is messed up, but why would it be messed up on this kernel but not messed up on the other? The root file system is the root file system. Kernel panic not syncing VFS unable to mount rootfs on unknown block 0.0. It's I've never heard of it having more than one root file system, you know. It says that the okay, up there close to the top second row it says CPU O PID1 COM swapper O not tainted, which is a good thing, but 4.19.7, that's the kernel I'm trying to. Hardware name, when something like this came up, I used to always grab my camera and take a picture, but my camera that I did with it just broke. And you could read it. It was good, you know. Wasn't super high resolution, but it was a Nikon camera with a Nikon lens, and it was only like 1.7 megapixels, but it was very sharp. But it died. And these phone cameras, you can barely read them, but I'm using them all, you know, to make my videos. So can't grab one and take a picture with it. The one I have zoomed in that I'm showing you right now, of course, it's so blurry that it can't be read. That's what I'm saying. Okay, let's see if it'll respond to Control Alt Delete. It just hangs up. It won't Control Alt Delete or anything. Okay. So I fix one thing and break another. That's always special. Still have to type startx to get it to try to boot into a different desktop. Now I haven't seen how to get into Mate yet. It's not the same boot screen. Oh, that Plymouth. I may need to look into that. Okay, so I went down to the previous kernel 4.19.6 so and so. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and should boot back up. Got our little 3 dots. I was wanting to grab my KVM switch and get back to my machine, but I got to get if I'm going to show anything, I need to get on the remote desktop again. Yeah, something about the hardware sensors failed to start, and that must have been something I got with the Mate Desktop, I'm guessing. Because I never saw that before. Yeah, just get the terminal window, you know, the standard terminal window. And I can type startx, and I should... Oh. It asked me, first you got to log in as somebody. So I'm going to do Dawn this time. Now it's on T2I1. I just now noticed that. Okay, now startx. That's not the end of the world if that stays like that, but that not updating the kernel properly, that is. That's no good whatsoever. That's not for a server especially. But I think I broke it. Pretty sure I broke it, shutting it down right then and there. If I'd have thought, you know, when I was thinking, well, I think everything's all right. If I'd have investigated a little more and figured out what it was, it kept saying was running. Then what was weird is that when I closed the terminal, you know, but there was nothing running in the terminal. And now I suppose I can. Oh, those commands I ran were just to make the GUI work, and it works. So that's not what was hanging up. I guess for some reason, since I had the terminal open, me closing the terminal, I don't know why it would interrupt the updates when they were all being done by the GUI app, you know, in the background. It shouldn't have, really. So now we're back into our Mate terminal, and get KRFB back running. So we can do remote login. Okay. Now, yeah, the KDE wallet, if I would set that up, then it should save that password for me. keeps asking me how to set it up, but I just haven't wanted to mess with it. Okay. Keeps going back to the exact same one I started on. No, it doesn't. It goes to the next one. It's not going to number 2. That's what I want. Come on. Sometimes it just doesn't want to do it when I use this really long stick for some reason. It is jumping back and forth between. Oh, now it's there. I think. Oh, I see. There's a clear shield of a thing, I guess I'd call it, underneath the bottom of my monitor. And when you are looking straight across the edge of it, you don't see the whole bottom. Well, you don't see, well, pretty much the whole bottom row of lights on my KVM switch. It's just right exactly in line with them. So if I tilt my head way, way down, then I see that it's lit up. I don't know that you'd see that. You might have saw some of that. I don't know in the camera view there. Okay, back to the remote desktop. Now, I didn't ever dream I was going to connect and disconnect from this remote desktop this many times, or I'd have set up that doggone keyring thing, or wallet. They call it keyring, Genome keyring, KDE wallet. They're both the same thing. They're the password saver, built-in password saver. Okay, so system. I don't know how to fix it. You can, I know I've seen it before. You can uninstall. I don't know how you could uninstall a broken kernel update though. Oh, I know what I want to look at. I want to see if there's anything messed up on if there's like an extra partition or something. Yeah, that's what I was looking for, genome disks actually. Why does my thing look funny? I think my keyboard messed it up. Yeah, it did. There we go. Genome-disks finds it. That came up in there and so I selected it. Here, this is what I wanted. Alright, the 80 gig hard drive. We've got our partition 1. Yeah, that's going to be the boot file system, SDA. And then the LVM2 actually has the root and the home partitions in it. You can't see them in this view. Then that's the DVD drive, 16 gigabyte block device. What's 16 gigabyte? That 43% full. This is okay. This is Bishop Co. root. That's the root partition. Doesn't show to be. Says contents XFS mount at file system root. Doesn't look like it's ext4 anymore. It says XFS. Huh. I haven't been paying much attention to XFS because I haven't had anything that used it. And I didn't know Fedora was going to go to that. I didn't remember the name. And then the swap partition. I don't see. Where's the home partition? Bishop Co swap. 16 gigabyte, 80 gigabyte. Okay, there's the home. This is the SDA1. That's the boot partition with grub and stuff on it. Partition 2 is they have SDA2, Linux LVM. I think they've changed it up again. Instead of like the previous Fedora 23 had the 2 ext4s inside the LVM2. Maybe they decided that didn't work so well because it did get broken. I couldn't fix it. But this LVM is, I don't see where it says home anywhere, but that's the home partition. I know that now after after looking around. It's okay. I think the text might have got bigger when I made it bigger. Now I can read it anyway. Okay, 4 bad sectors. That's not bad at all. Okay, 4 bad sectors. I guess that's for the whole drive. But the LVM2, I don't see where it says home anywhere, but I know that this is home because, my dear, it's elementary, my dear Watson. This is the root partition, and it's 16 gigabytes, which is usually always smaller than home. And this is a swap, and it's actually bigger than the root. No, not bigger than the root, bigger than the boot, 2.2 gigabytes. So, yeah, and it says it. Well, this is swap. It's its own type of partition. But it's a bit slow at responding. But XFS, that's what it says. File system root. Mounted at file system root. Back up here. Partition type Linux bootable. Doesn't say that it's ext4, but I guess I'll see. Gparted should be on here. I'll look at it. Yeah, partition type LVM. Maybe some of the things I saw were in Gparted. LVM physical partition. Okay. So, but what I don't see is, I keep forgetting to look at root and see if it has any errors. I want to read this. It doesn't say. It doesn't have all that stuff up there about is it okay and all that stuff. But so yeah, I don't have anything in here to tell me. Okay. So now let's go to. But I mean, it should be okay. What I was wondering is, does it actually have more than one root partition now? Or something different, you know? I don't think they would do that. But Gparted. Got to put in that root password. I'm really just getting tighter and tighter. I thought I might wake up a little bit after a while if my food settled or blood sugar settled down, but I'm just really tired now. Okay, yeah, see, DevSDA is ext4. That's the boot partition, 1 gigabyte. LVM2 PB is 73.55 gigabytes. It just says LVM2. It doesn't say, you know, anything. Well, we can look at the flags and stuff, maybe. The information. LVM2, used 17 gigabytes, unused 56. And then, the swap is built into it, it looks like. Yeah, it's a logical volume of this LVM2. Okay. Is root in there too? There's a root right there. Oh, logical volume, swap and root. Okay, I don't think they're in this. LVM. Okay, now, where is the rest? Maybe they are in there because they must be inside the LVM just like in Fedora 28 was. Because the only primary partitions we have is the boot, ext4, and then the LVM. Let's look at the information on it. Mounted on boot, DevSDA, boot. Okay. So yeah, it's different how it's done now with the LVM2. All of them are in there together, but in this time, like before, I could see. I don't really remember which app I saw it in, but I saw that the root was an ext4 inside the LVM, but it just shows DevSDA2. Let's see. and you know, then it says swap root flags LVM. So what I would like to do, let's see, you would think it would do it anyway since there's a problem. Well, it might be set. It's going to be set. Talking about check the file system. Maybe it would fix. Of course, it didn't the last time on. Well, that was my Fedora 23 system. Actually, that's the one I figured out. It had the ext4. It had home and root showing up as ext4s inside the LVM. And I couldn't get it to, you know, actually I'm not so sure that the fix command would actually run on the LVM. I wasn't really ever sure if it did or would, you know, could. Well, on the ext4s, and when they're when they're primary partitions, it will. I've always done that. You know, it's automatic every so often, and I thought it would like detect, the system would detect if there was a problem, and it would go ahead and run it. It seemed like it did. But sometimes I did have a file system get broken. You know, in the situation that this one's in right now, or that's a new. It's weird because I've never seen. I don't remember seeing one kernel show up good and boot good, and then another kernel show up to have a partition problem. You know, what looks like a partition problem anyway. But anyway, you could manually run it, and I just went through that trying to fix my Fedora 23. You know, I've got those commands all saved up. But I think I'm so tired and sleepy right now. I think I'm gonna have to give up for tonight. But I'm just bouncing. You know, I'm punchy. I just don't even hardly know what it is I'm trying to do next. So came over me kind of quick. I mean, I knew I was tired, but suddenly I'm just flat punchy. So, I mean, I've got my XFCE. I do not know why Mate doesn't seem to show up at all. When I type startx, I just go straight into XFCE. But why don't I get, before I go, I just remembered one thing I want to look at. Of course, I don't know that matters, but we'll do it anyway. At this point, it might not matter if everything's broken, right? Well, before I do that, what about... Oh, disk. I was going to go look for Plymouth in DNF. See if there's any other disk apps on there. Disk management. Disk drives and media. That's the one where you just mount stuff. Okay, and you can't use that as regular user Dawn anyway. Yeah, while I'm thinking of Plymouth again, let's go ahead and go into DNF. Since I've got a nice remote desktop up and running and everything, I can show. And we want to change it over to all. So let me. Nothing happened yet. So let's give it more to do. It's always a smart thing to do. Okay, I gotta have a cough drop thing. Oh, now it let me do it. Oh. I just want to search for Plymouth and see what all comes up and see what all's installed. When it gets done going through its paces there. I'm writing notes. Oh, have to type startx. I wanted to write down what's been going on. What my progress was so far. Okay, Plymouth. Well, I definitely can remember how to spell it because I've thought about it so much as to how you're really supposed to say it. Now watch me have it wrong. Okay, so see we have graphical boot animation and login. Yep, that's what I thought. And we have looks to me like we have it. Let's kind of look through, see what it is it's not installed. Devel configuration module. For system settings, that could be useful. One is 5.13 and the other one is 5.14. Oh, always need to check your versions if you want to get the newest one. Now then, Plymouth Fade Throbber plugin. I don't want anything fancy right now. I just want it to work. Plymouth Script plugin. Space flares. Thorough Begress. So there seems to be a bunch of extra things you can get that I'm not really paying attention to. I just see it works and I use it and that's it. Of course, you might need something to give it a graphic of some sort, huh? Maybe it's missing its graphic parts. That's what I was thinking. Maybe I know it's there, and I knew it was there, and I saw it. In the boot menu, it was starting Plymouth, but maybe it was just starting the basic version for the command line. No GUI. But I did see graphic. Boot animation and logger. That's what was already installed. Of course, like I said, after I installed Mate Desktop, I didn't look before. So, Fade Throbber plugin. Try a couple just to see if that gives me something. There's Label plugin, Space Flares plugin. There's a 9.3 version and a 9.4. Let's don't get crazy about this. Two-step plugin. Okay, got that. It's already installed. I don't know about scripts. I'm not sure that I would be. That's probably something you would maybe run. Well, I don't know what, you might not have to run it from the command line, but I don't know what I would do with it. There's something already installed anyway, so. Happy hot dog theme. I don't want a happy hot dog. Okay. That's probably that thing like you see in the Fedora installer. So there's different themes. Solar theme. I have seen, let's see, what was it? It was in OpenSUSE that I built years ago. Still have it on my Fedora 14 system on one of the hard drives. As the seasons change, it will change the icons in the boot screen. And some of them are cute. Spin up theme. Pt29. Spinner. Well, there really doesn't look to me to be anything missing for writing Plymouth Bash plugins. No, I don't want to write any. Wait a minute. Plymouth graphics libraries, yeah, that was already installed. Core libraries, that's already installed. I don't think there's anything actually missing. I just clicked a few of them to see if it would do anything. Tried to make sure. Yeah, that configuration module, I thought that could be actually helpful to, you know, maybe I can turn something on it's not turned on or something with it. Like that's what I was thinking. That's 10 megabytes, but not a big deal. Now that's more like it right there. Well, let's don't get too happy, but it seems that my Fedora 28 system on the quad core is painfully slow compared to in DNF. I've been really grappling about it lately compared to this Fedora 29 and the single core with 2 gig of RAM on remote desktop, on VNC remote desktop. It's a little, everything was a little more sluggish on the remote desktop, but it downloaded, let's see, yeah, it downloaded it all real quick like it should. 10 megabytes shouldn't take no time at all on a 200 meg download system, you know, internet connection. And now it's installing. Installing would be the slowest thing, especially on an older machine, you know. Well, unless you had 700 megabytes worth or something to download, but it'd still be slower. It'd be slower to install 700 megabytes than to download 700 megabytes. You know, when I'm watching, when I download files, you know, I'll download files that are 1.5 gig, 3 gigs, you know, ISOs for Fedora or something. They don't take 3 gig might maybe take 10 minutes, you know, 3.5 gigs now. But when I'm here in DNF, you know, if it's 30, 40, 50, 60 gigs, it's just like forever. I think it might be, no, it's not quite done yet, but it's close. Might be done. It doesn't say done, finished, thank you, glad you know, thanks for shopping at Plymouth, you know. Those are still not green yet, so it may not be done. But yeah, last time I thought it might be done, and then it started the little blue ball spinning. So I'm going to wait a little bit here. Okay, now, yeah, the apply button's gone, so it wasn't done thinking yet. It may not be done yet. You don't want to hit quit while it's in the middle of it. You can break more stuff. Okay, now, yeah, all the download buttons are green, saying it's installed. So I guess that means it's done. Although there doesn't seem to be as many clicked as there was when I started. That's weird. Core libraries are just not clicked at all. It must have changed to just show me what I just now installed. That's what it looks like. And now you can either quit or do more stuff, I guess. Okay, so it's finally done, I believe. Okay. Now, guess what? We wish we'd saved our password there, because we're going to have to, how do you quit this? That's the best way to do that, I think, quit. Now we can get on our camera. Oh yeah, how are you going to reboot it? We'll get on the camera and we'll reboot it. Well, actually, if I get on the camera, and then switch over to that machine, I can just do it normally because I have a GUI. I guess I could have done it last time and I just wasn't thinking. I logged into it with the remote admin tool. Okay, restart. Well, let's see what we get, if anything. I don't think it's going to make any difference. I guess I'll have to go ahead and still select the old kernel. Yeah, I'm just so tired I can't even begin to think about what I need to do to fix that. Well, I'm guessing, I guess I'll go ahead and let it try normally before, you know, a lot of times these things will fix themselves. The fix disk app will run itself and fix it. So I'm going to let it try again to see if it hangs up again. Yeah, installing that Plymouth stuff was a silly side trip there. It's just back to being broken there on that 4.19 kernel. I have seen instructions on how to uninstall a kernel before, and this would be why I guess you'd want to try and do it. Uninstall it and then do the updates again. So I'm hard shutting it down. And I can see that my screen is really far behind on the stream, so I'm starting it back up. I don't think it does any good to try to wait on it. That just makes things even more laggy and crazy. So this time I'll use my arrow keys to get on the previous kernel, the 4.19.6. Yeah, I see that dreaded error screen now over there on my stream. But I'm booting into the previous kernel now. Now the first part, I don't see any errors, but there's probably still going to be that one error that's kept showing up. Yeah, the hardware monitor sensors, I don't think those things are supported, because I remember seeing it in hardware lister checks, or something it was trying to check that's not, you know, the machine itself just doesn't have it. So it just went back to the regular command line. So you're going to have to log in. I'll go ahead and do Dawn. And oh, yeah, there's TTY1. What was that other? Let's see, Control Alt 2. It just shows. Oh, now it shows bishopco.local domain or 192.168.0.153.9090. So TTY1 just shows localhost. TTY2 shows, so it does sometimes show, well, oh, this shows bishopco.local domain. This would be how to log into it remotely from 9090. That's if I hit TTY2. So that must have been how it defaulted before, and why it changed I have no clue. Or 192.168. And then 3, Control Alt 3, it gives TTY3, same thing. TTY4 is the same thing. TTY5 is the same. TTY6 is the same. TTY7 doesn't do anything. So I did not realize that. Those are showing you different options on the boot screen, but the only ones that are actually different Now see, but on TTY1 I'm logged in as Dawn, and I can do something. But if I go to any of the others, 2 to 6, then I'd have to log in again. Huh. That's really something. Same kernel and all that, of course, but since I'm already logged in, I'm not going to log in again. I'm wondering if I left it on 6, would it just go back to 6 every time now? So I'm going to do startx though. And that works. Okay, now there's default and there's default. I don't see a Dawn under there now. Maybe because, I don't know, before, I saw default and Dawn, which default meant root, obviously, because that's what I end up logging in as. Now it's just rolling the mouse wheel, doesn't do anything. I don't see another bit of a word. See, I saw the bit of the word Dawn and a little blue at the bottom of the screen there, bottom of the little window. And as I hold my mouse over it, it makes the mouse blink and go crazy. Then it turns into an X if I get off of it. I thought I would try to wait until I know that you could see that before I moved on. It's just taking forever. Oh, well, you're not going to see it because the camera can't show it. It's just a white spot, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to click on it, and it should just go into the takes a bit, I guess, but it should go on into the graphic user interface, the XFCE Desktop. Where's Mate? I don't know. I don't know I ran those commands for Mate and XFCE, but all I'm seeing is I get into the terminal and type startx and it brings up XFCE. Although nothing's happened. It's been a while. There we go. It just didn't take. Now we're getting our, and that's right into the graphic user desktop. And it's Dawn. I don't like that, but I couldn't live with it. It's for a server. I would hate it for a desktop machine. But what I hate more is having my new kernel update broken. Connection established. So keep getting an oops, but then when I click on it, it doesn't. Says there's nothing wrong. We're just fooling with you. I started going to KRFB, then I thought, well, I'll go ahead. I'd rather leave from there than from here. So now I can go back to my machine and do the remote desktop. And basically say, well, I'm tired and I'm done. That's what I think I'm going to do. Keep saying I'm tired and I need to quit, and then I do something else. Okay, so I have my, that works no problem now. I can do remote. I can do XFCE Desktop for Dawn or for root, but I have to start by logging in as that user and then type startx. STARTX. In case you didn't understand what I've been saying in my accent, my Texas accent. But sometimes I can't understand myself when I watch my videos. I'd say, well, what did I say? But yeah, I have Thunderbird, FileZilla, Tiger VNC Viewer, A little bit of multimedia, Parole Media Player, Pulse Audio. I don't have VLC. That doesn't come in any of those groups. I have LibreOffice, which is one of the main things I'd want on here, you know. Have the Task Manager, but I don't see the Mate System Monitor. I guess I didn't get it with that little group of Mate apps I installed. View accessories. Plenty of settings apps. Web browser, I haven't even opened that up one time. Mail reader, I guess that would, I don't know if you have to set that, but it would be Thunderbird's on there, which I guess probably came when I did I don't know if it's XFCE or Mate Desktop, but yeah, if you click down there at the bottom of the blue ball, that's the one for opening up a web browser. It says no application, and the only choice is Mozilla Firefox, which is what I wanted. I usually go ahead and put Firefox Developer Edition on my server because it helps me. Well, for one thing, sometimes well, I don't know if it's actually lighter, but it might be. Well, for one thing, if one of them not acting right, I can just open the other one. And Chrome, probably too. Chromium, I mean, I wouldn't do Chrome at all, but Chromium, probably a little too resource heavy for this machine. You can see it's pretty slow at opening up the browser. Of course, it is on remote desktop, and it's opening up 2 tabs too. So, but it works. Hit home and see what it does. See what it's got for a home page. It may be Fedora's. Yeah, Fedora's magazine page, which actually has good articles. I never usually remember to go there, but it's got, I always see 2 or 3 that I'm interested in every time I get there. But in 27 end of life, there we go. 29 on ARM, on ARM, on AWS. I don't know what AWS is. What AWS? Okay, so. Just wanted to see it since I hadn't even looked at the browser to see if it would work and get online and stuff. I figured it would, but or just see if it was going to overdo the machine, you know. I think it'll be a fine server, except for I can't believe I broke. I'm almost certain I just flat broke it by shutting it down in the middle of that update. It was evidently a kernel update. I guess the cockpit errors might tell you something, now that I think about it. Let's see if we can reconnect. I think I just mistyped it accidentally. Well, I kind of hit between the keys, but I made it. Let's look at the logs. Guess I can close those extra 2. Applet. It may not be, since it failed to boot, it may not show those errors. It may only show when it actually boots up. Yeah, I don't see anything that looks like that failure. Well, failed to connect to dbus system. That was a long time ago. So, not quite sure. I don't remember if that big bad error had said anything about a dbus system on it. But well, the last time, okay, I tried the new kernel and it failed, and then I tried the one I'm on now. So that would be the errors for the one I'm on now. Failed to start hardware monitoring sensors. I've been seeing that. That one I don't see in the boot screen. Or that. Or that. And then before that, yeah, well, now maybe that is it. Run dbus system bus socket connect refuse, ABC dropped. I don't know. I saw that before. I had that problem of it not booting into the new kernel. I saw that several times down here. So I don't know. I kind of don't think those errors are actually showing up in there. So system is up to date. Oh yeah, I was thinking about those applications. Now I guess it'll check, yeah, refreshing package information. So this is basically the same thing as opening up DNF Updater in the graphic user interface. This does usually work probably a little faster than that. I still like doing things in the GUI better than regular GUI. Sometimes this hangs up though and doesn't work. So get about this far and then not get any further. Could be because of something. Well, normally I'm not in the GUI when I run that. It's just running the terminal. But see, there's nothing. It's not up and running. That you can always tell because it has looks like a yellow square. Let's get in there. But yeah, I don't know about that applications thing. That's a whole separate little section that I don't even know how to get to in the normal system. Up to date. I apply updates at 3. Yeah. So yeah, that probably was somewhere around after 3 when I saw that it said, oh, it has some updates. And I just was not thinking about that it could be updates, when I rebooted and said, oh, let's go ahead and just update it. Reboot it. And then here where it says applications, it's really weird how there's just a few. And I guess they're applications just for Cockpit. Maybe that's what it is. Security enhanced Linux configuration and troubleshooting. I bet you that is for Cockpit. Because, I already have those things installed on the system. I have SC Linux, I have SC Linux Troubleshooter. It's there. So the only thing just now hit me, these must be like little add-ons for Cockpit. Yeah, I'll bet that's what that is. I'm going to close that so I won't quit fiddling around in there. Because I've got the whole desktop I can use. The whole system I can do. See, that's why I wanted a desktop. Anything that you can do on this system, you can do it. You've got the graphic apps, you've got terminals, more than one of them to use. Got Mate, I got XFCE, I probably have another one. Login window. Yeah, I remember I installed a little. Okay, let's see what we get. Let's see if there's something we can turn on that's not turned on. Login window, backgrounds. Yeah, this must be what I just installed a while ago. Background color. Draw user backgrounds. Draw grid. That's off. Okay, GTK theme. Adwada. Other monitors. Other monitors. Bottom left. What is that? Background. I don't want to change anything just yet. I want to see if it looks like. Allow manual login. Hide user list. What is manual login? Add an option in the login window to enter a username. Oh no, I don't like that. I don't want that. That's what I like about Fedora. You don't have to do that. In Debian you have to use that. Automatic login username. I want Dawn. That's what I want. Okay, let's see if it'll leave it in there. Settings. Active numlock off. Numlock. I thought I always wanted that on. numlock. Yeah, numlock I like to be on, but it's usually on anyway in the set in the BIOS, so I won't bother with it right now. HIPD support, auto monitor, auto hostname on. All that stuff is on. Battery power doesn't need to be on. Panel indicators. I don't have a battery on this, so I'll turn that off. Yeah, the rest I'll leave. Users, Dawn. I guess it's just going to automatically save that. I don't want manual login. Yeah. Hide user list. No, I don't want to hide the user list. Okay. Now this is for XFCE though. This is not Mate. Draw user backgrounds. Draw a grid of white dots at top on the top of the background. Huh. When the user is selected, show the user's background. Okay, we'll do that. Now, and add water is usually a pretty good theme. Other monitors, no. Optional pictures. If you have multiple monitors, oh, use it to place. Oh, okay, that'd be good if this was a laptop. Button left. I'm not going to bother that. I might break something. Okay. Maybe, now what I'm hoping is, you know, that little boxes, you know, I was having to roll, to see all the users, I was having to roll my mouse wheel to see that when I was in the root mode, I could see default and Dawn. Of course, now it may, I don't know if it'll work, but we'll see if it'll automatically log in as Dawn. That's what I'd really want on this. I had it like that before on a different one and different machine, and I liked it. I think that's good. Could be bad for the server. It might be better that it's not logged in as anybody. Well, I've already done it now. I can always change it. I won't do anything until I get rid of that broken kernel, though. I'm fixing things that don't matter. Setting up things that don't matter right now. Let's see. Login window, log out, logs. Oh, there was something. Excel. Let's see if there's any errors, any more errors than what I've already seen showing up. Canon. Important. Let's see. I guess that's where I was. All. Let's look at all first. Probably so many we won't be able to. Again, I think maybe the one, you know, on the other kernel may not show up. Maybe the system I can't see because I'm Dawn instead of root. Hardware. So I don't know. Let's just go back to all this time. Next time I open it up, it may stay on all. Sometimes I forget to switch those things. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it's supposed to be all applications, but it doesn't always find them all, so at least not in Mate Desktop. Might in XFCE. So if you just want to look through them, you can do that. To me, it's easier than the narrow drop-down menu up there. because it sometimes cuts off some of like the explanations and stuff, or descriptions, or whatever it is. See, there's SE Linux Troubleshooter, like I was talking about. And I didn't even install Thunderbird on purpose. It must have got, I think it got installed along with Mate Desktop. I'm pretty sure it does that, yeah, because it has some default applications. But I already had LibreOffice before I ran the Mate Desktop install, so. So yeah, let's see what terminals. Oh, I'm already there. I just need to. Yeah, I've got Terminal Emulator, Mate, XFCE twice, and then that's it. Okay. Yeah, I just can't think anymore. Works on the older kernel. Man, I can't believe that everything was fine. I was just getting this figured out, and really nothing went wrong with the system, I don't think. I think I just broke it, not stopping and thinking, because I'm tired, really, because I just kept going when I was too tired, I guess. You know, well, I mean, I kept stopping, and I kept going, I think it's all right. I mean, you can do that normally without breaking anything. You can just say, well, something's hung up, oh well, shut it down, and then when you reboot, it's fine. But what I didn't realize, nothing was hung up. It was in the middle. It didn't tell me I'm in the middle of installing a kernel update. If it had said that, then I'd have, even though I'm worn out, I'd have said, oh, okay, well, we'll wait on that. So, oh well, now we're going to have to learn how to fix that. I think a long time ago I had to fix something like that. But like what I did do, you know, yum clean, DNF clean all, that's the thing. That's what I know to do to clean. There is one other command that goes a little deeper when you have a messed up updates, but the thing is, it's showing that all the updates are good. You know, it's saying, okay, all updates are installed, everything's good. But we know that we have a broken kernel, so I guess it's a broken kernel. It sounds, when you look at that error, it sounds like broken file system, not a broken kernel. So I'll really have to do some research on that. And I guess what I didn't think about that. Let's see. Oh no, I can't get a screenshot of that. I was trying to think, how can I get all that information? Oh, there might be like that. What is that? The command they tell you to run. Well, that log viewer, that should have showed me the same thing as running systemctl whatever logs, you know. So now here's what I'm just going to shut it down, and that will automatically shut down my remote desktop. Shut down. Now if it said, uh-oh, you know, like, do you really want to do this? Usually that's what happens, and then you can say, no, let's hang on here and figure out what's going on. Okay, so partial success would have been a full success if I hadn't had that broken that kernel. Somehow, I mean, obviously I had to have broken it when I went ahead and shut it down. So now I've got to figure out, how do you fix a broken kernel update? I believe what happened is in the middle of installing it, if it was just downloading it, then yum clean all would have fixed everything right up. But it was in the middle of installing it, and it got interrupted. You would think that the system would wait until it was done instead of, if it knows the kernel update's being installed. And unless there's something else wrong that I just don't know what it is. But I can't see it being the root file system broken because it's running in the older kernel. So, we'll live to fight another day. We didn't get killed, so the system's not killed yet. It's got some broken stuff, but it ain't killed. So sometimes you get into those weird problems, those hard to fix problems, and it's easier to reformat. But as you can see, doing what I'm doing, you know, installing the servers really don't take that long if you just do the basic server. FTP and web server at Apache, and it's up and running and you can use it. You don't ever have to install anything else, but you need to copy your website over, and set up automatic updates, those things that I did the first day. But if you want a GUI, which it really does help me a lot to have one, have a graphic user desktop, then with the server you have to go around and around to get it going. I'm beginning to catch on, like I said, I did remember from the last time there were some commands I had to run. When I did find them fairly easily in my old videos, and then I found the links to the website, so that was okay. Now, remembering the exact steps to make it actually work, I think it's a little different in Mate than it is. And if I would have started with Mate, I would have had Mate up and running right away. But that logon chooser, it's still not there like it should be, like it was before on Fedora 23. And again, they change things all the time. Maybe they took all the things out of the groups, the group installs and stuff, that make that work, for the server, because they just think you don't need it in the server. And there's, it's less overhead and all that. Even when you're not running the desktop, there are going to be things running in the background. So there is that to consider. It's not like, what I will probably do with it is, most of the time it won't be logged in. It'll be sitting there. That's okay with this one, really. It'd be fine for it to be sitting there in a terminal window, and only I will actually know how to get it going into the graphic user interface. And the problem is me remembering that command. I've known it for years, but I forget it all the time. startx. It's a simple one, but hardly ever use it anymore. I used to use it a lot back when first 3 or 4 years I was in Linux. I used it a lot because a lot of the distros would not automatically, especially the rescue systems on CD, they wouldn't automatically. Just like this, you would get into a terminal and you had this type. It would tell you type startx, and it would tell you the different commands to choose from. Like you want to configure the graphics and stuff. You'd have to configure the size and do this and do that on some of them. And some of them you could just type startx and it would work just like it just did here and several times here. So once I saw that, I was like, oh, I remember that. So anyway, but in a few months, I might have a hard time remembering it again. If I go out in the garage and think, okay, I want to get into the desktop, how do I do that again? So I'd prefer that it would just boot up to my little login graphic, and then if I want to log in, I click on my username, type in the password, which I might have to go get but then it'll be good. That's the way I've been doing it. Sometimes I just log it in, I leave it that way for weeks and months, and sometimes the power would go out and it would reboot and it'd just be sitting there waiting to be logged in. Or sometimes I would just reboot it myself and then decide not to go log in or just forget. It doesn't matter with the server. And I have never, it's not enough of a lag on the machine that I ever could see my access to my website slow down or anything, And it wasn't enough of a lag work on the machine to make it, work harder and you could hear the fans or anything or make it overheat or anything. So that was with the IBM. Before that I had that the Dell that's my footstool. It's still there, just not running anything. Doesn't even have a hard drive in it anymore. But that was it had this 80 gig hard drive in it for years. It was my first server I set up, I think. Yeah, it was the first one. And I ran it for years with, it was an RPM-based distro just for being a server, and it had a graphic user interface. And what was it called? NSA server. And the guy that built it, he said he used to work for the NSA, and he actually originally built this for them, and it was all about security and everything. That's why I went ahead and started with that. And I ran it for years until they quit having any updates. And then finally, when it quit being updated, and he quit working on it and quit supporting it, then I moved on. By this time, well, let's see. I had already learned how to set up, Apache and lots of other kind of servers on my, most of them are on my Fedora 14 system. but it had already been long enough that I really forgot how I did it. I had done it a little bit here, a little bit there, and then all I can really remember is, well, I'd put the domain server on that Gateway 500 at some point. That's pretty easy because they have the options. It's a lot like the net install. Well, they have a net install. Maybe that's the one I remember that I like the way it worked, because you can do the one that's in the garage. It was Genome 2 Desktop. You could add a server, FTP, whatever you want, and all in the little Anaconda. I think it's still Anaconda. Well, anyway, the graphic user installer, and you didn't have to go through a lot of pains, and running commands or anything like I've been doing to try to get this desktop working. And I imagine I didn't try when I put domain 8 on this laptop here or domain 9 on the Dell Pt29. I didn't try to put servers on them, so I don't know. And I think I just used the regular, not the net installer, but the regular installer. And but anyway, when Fedora server came out, it was Fedora, I think it's 21. I started with Fedora. I think it came out it's the first year it came out. I said, oh, that's what I want. And I did Fedora, I guess it was Fedora 21 server. Put it on the IBM. And then after a couple of years, I put Fedora 23. And so now I've been running 23 all this time until, the only reason I went ahead and did it is because the lightning kept, broke it. Lightning kept turning the power on and off in the house, and it broke the file system. So then I did 28, and then in the meantime, when I was fiddling around with everything, trying to learn the DNS server and all that, then Fedora 29 came out in full swing, so I thought, well, I might as well go to it. So in the last couple of months, I have reformatted this machine here. Let's see, well, not as many times as it feels like. I put it on there once on that smaller hard drive, that 20 gig hard drive, and messed for a month with that DNS server until I finally realized I'm not going to be able to do it. I mean, I got it working, but I can't do it because of the way GoDaddy is. I can't hook it up to GoDaddy, my domain system, and the way they have their requirements. You got to have 2 IP addresses, 2 public IP addresses. Well, I can't have 2 of those unless I have 2 ISPs, and I certainly ain't going to go hire another ISP for $80 a month. That's almost $80 a month now for our internet, $77, $8 a month. And I went blank after that. Because then I went, and then and then I had to redo. And it kept having trouble with the net installer. So this is the 3rd or 4th time I've redone this 80 gig hard drive. I did 28, 29. I think I went back to 28, back to 29. It's about the 4th time. So if this is broken and I have to start from scratch again, I'm going to be kind of pissed. That's what I'm getting at. But so I will try to fix this broken kernel, but I'm afraid that it may be easier to reformat again, and I hate the idea of that. But it'll actually, now that I have that's why I take notes, and that's why I make those text files with all those commands, because if I do have to start over, and it's fresh enough on my memory, I'll know where those files are stored, and there are a few on that machine itself. I need to copy those over, to this machine, so I'll have them all. And I should have all the information I need, all the commands I need. They're still kind of spread out. I try to organize things, but it's kind of hard for me. My mind doesn't stay together all the time. But I do have all the information I need to get it back, back to my graphic user interfaces and everything. Anyway, but they're still not exactly where I want them, though. I want the regular boot screen. That's what I want, like I had before in Fedora 23. So anyway, all right, I'm going to go get ready for bed. All right, bye-bye.